Okay, so yeah, Brian, I got a few questions for you. You could just jump right into it. You ready?
Yeah,
Okay,
all
so
good.
summer's approaching. Some of us are still working on our summer bodies, so this partnership is right on time. What inspired
Yes.
this collaboration with Optimum Nutrition?
I think what inspired me is simply understanding the importance of protein intake. When working out, I had to transform my body for a role that I was doing in the fire inside, playing a professional boxer. So that was just a whole entirely new world for me. But I quickly learned how important protein was, but I didn't love it necessarily. The taste was not the best.
Yeah.
But then I was introduced to Optimum Nutrition and I really love their Gold Whey protein. It's so, so good. And the chocolate flavor and vanilla, honestly. But chocolate is probably my favorite. And yeah, it just was something that was introduced through, out my diet and trying
Mhm.
a lot of proteins and doing a trial and error type of go. And luckily I landed on this and loved it. So yeah.
Great, girl. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, protein can has a very distinctive taste, so that's good. So chocolate
Very
is
distinct.
is chocolate the flavor that you would recommend?
I would personally. I feel like it goes with way more ingredients, especially because I'm a smoothie person. I love
Yeah.
smoothies more than I do putting it into food. I do that as well, but I
Mhm.
feel like smoothies are always the easiest, and chocolate just makes it taste a lot better. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm writing that down, so thank you.
Yeah.
You have a busy schedule, and a lot of people look at you as motivation. Since partnering with Optimum Nutrition, what's something you've learned about yourself that's made it easier to stay on track? And that could be either about your body, your routine, something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just having to change up my just schedule in a way after I was done actually filming and changing up my fitness goals was something that I was learning as I went, I had to gain a lot of weight for the role. So
Mm,
I knew after that I wanted to slim down a bit, but I didn't really know exactly how I was going to do that and how I was going to execute that. But I learned along the way, it was something that I kind of learned and understood being in a position where I had to do a complete body transformation before. I kind of knew, okay, I need to like do maybe a lot more low maintenance workouts and do something that was a bit different than what I was doing before, wanting to slim out more, but I always knew that my diet was always going to be, a game changer in that. So, yeah, I was just learning as I went. I'm not a pro, but
okay.
you know, I definitely try different things all the time, but my nutrition stays the same for sure.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of mentioned nutrition, dieting. What are some other small ways you've been able to incorporate optimum nutrition into your daily routine?
I mean, I think I learned how important it was to make sure that you're taking your protein right after your workout is done. I think that that was something that was like a big eye opener that I didn't really realize before. So yeah, I've continued that throughout the past few years, and um, it's been something that has been very easy for me now, which is
Mhm.
shocking. I'm
Oh,
not,
good.
I'm not someone that knows exactly what to do all the time, but that's been
Mhm.
something that's been very consistent. So, yeah, I think making sure you get the right amount and making sure you take it at the right time in the day, something that's
Okay.
very important. Yeah.
Okay. Can you share some fitness advice for beginners?
Beginners. Oh man,
Yes.
I think making sure that you take your time and go at your own pace is something that I would definitely recommend. I
Okay.
think we live in a world where we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people,
Right.
and there's a lot of advice being thrown out at you. So it's hard to really know whose advice
What's
to take
legit?
and
Yes,
like
exactly.
what
Yes.
will work for you. And
Right.
it's just not a one size fits all situation,
Okay.
so you really have to
Gotcha.
try things. If it doesn't work for you, then scratch it,
Mhm.
but one thing that's very, very important, and I want people to truly understand, is how important nutrition is, almost even more important than the exercising aspect.
Mhm.
So yeah, your food and your protein intake is literally everything. So if you're a beginner, I would say focus on that first. And then yeah, try to incorporate smaller workouts and work your way up.
Okay. Speaking of workouts, I could only imagine the high level of training that went into filming for The Fire Inside. So, what did your training look like behind the scenes?
Ooh, behind the scenes, it was very ugly.
Really? Was it
Yes,
really?
yes, it was very, very brutal. I was just not, I don't know, it wasn't pretty. It was definitely something where I was pushing myself beyond what I ever have done before and ever thought that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a beautiful experience overall, and I transformed, I always say, emotionally, mentally, physically, everything, so I needed that, as a human being. It just really needed to happen for my growth as an artist overall.
I got
So
you.
it yeah, it was really fun, and I luckily had really fun trainers as well that I formed a
Oh, nice.
relationship with. And
Mhm.
my boxing coach was like textbook boxing coach, and he
Oh,
was
wow.
so fun, but also hard on me, which is
Yes.
very necessary. And stunt training was also a whole new world that I also really fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was so many different parts and aspects of it that was just, a part of the entire game plan. So
Uh-huh. Great. Are there any workouts or like recovery routines that you swore by during filming that kind of stuck with you in your real life routines?
I think resting was a really big thing
Resting.
for recovery that I don't think really hit me until
Mm-hmm.
those moments, making sure that I wasn't pushing myself overly too much, and I tend to do that. And I
Yeah.
thought that I needed to do that to be able to execute what I needed to, but it was harming me more than I thought. So resting is a huge opponent, I think. And also your protein intake is
Mm-hmm.
very, very huge. And I think that making sure, again, you're getting the right amount is something that I needed to learn and know. And so luckily, again, Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein was something that I could incorporate, and especially for, after filming and making sure
Mm-hmm.
that I was still getting enough and enjoying it along the way. Was just really great for muscle recovery. And I think we kind of sleep on that too, of how much protein can really do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think rest and protein was really, really great for recovery and making sure you're good.
Okay. I am going to switch gears just a little bit. You've taken on so many different types of roles that show a different side of you, from the fire inside, from Star. How did your time at Star prepare you for the physical work that you had to put in for this film?
Um, I mean, they were very different, but it still was taking a toll on my body. And I think for Star, it was more about the long schedules, the rehearsals that we had to do for our different dance numbers and performances. So it was, yeah, it was a different type of beast, but I think those long hours and having to push myself in a lot of ways physically with Star prepared me for the fire inside, and it not shocking my body too much as far as what I needed to do to make sure that I was ready for it. So
Mm-hmm.
the hours and having to, also rehearse on the weekends and record on the weekends and still work pretty much 24/7
Yes.
was pretty much what I had to do for the fire inside as well. So I think that they had those sort of parallels, and it just prepared me, but the fire inside was a lot more intense. I will say.
Okay.
Yes.
When life gets crazy with work, life, and everything else in between, what's one thing that you have to absolutely do that helps you stay grounded and like make you feel good?
Ooh, I think it's making sure I take a beat. I find that because the schedule can get, kind of all over the place and I travel a lot, I really find a lot of peace in being at home with myself. And
Yeah.
I think that, that's something that I just appreciate more and more, and also trying to keep my schedule up with my fitness is something that is still being learned, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but
Mhm.
it really does help with my mental health as well. So I try to keep it as consistent as possible. Um, and I definitely see the change that happens when I keep it up and I keep those moments, where I just have like some downtime to
Mhm.
myself and also keep my fitness up. So it definitely helps with the balance of everything, I think.
Great. Thank you so much. Last but not least, if you could design your own shake flavor or protein bar with Optimum, what would it be called and what would be in it? Chocolate
Ooh,
aside, I know you mentioned chocolate earlier, but
yes, I did mention chocolate. A protein bar would be fun, I think. An Optimum Nutrition protein bar that's maybe not chocolate, maybe a strawberry flavor could be fun. I would love
okay.
to do something like that if I
Yeah.
had to make my own. If I had to make my own, that could be really fun. So yeah, something like that.
Okay. And name any names, ideas?
Ooh, a name? Probably the RD Power Bar. That
Ooh,
sounds
ooh,
legit,
I like
right?
that.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that
like
rolls off
that
the
has a little
tongue.
ring to it.
Tea, uh-huh. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, that wraps it up. So thank you so much for meeting with me and good luck on your endeavors.
Thank you so, so much, Peyton.